Most of you have, or if you've done the Ayurvedic training. This is another of our board members who we're very happy to have with us, a great expert in Ayurveda, Dr. Suhas Kshirsagar. And I just learned yesterday from Vamadeva that Suhas means sweet-smiled. So if you wonder why Dr. Suhas always has that wonderful smile on his face, it's because it's his name radiating out. And then also his last name, Kshirsagar, means the ocean of milk or the ocean of consciousness. And if you remember this morning when I was talking about the Kumbh Mela, that's what the gods and the demons were churning to bring out the Amrit, the nectar of immortality. So, you know, this fellow has got everything going for him. So, you know, when Deepak and I first got together, which was almost 30 years ago now, and Deepak, you know, started on his Ayurvedic journey. And when I first started working with Deepak in Massachusetts, he still had a Western medical practice, you know, white coat, stethoscope, the whole thing, if you can imagine that. And he had the downstairs area, big practice, and I had this little office upstairs, and Deepak would come running upstairs and say, "Oh, we need to do this and this," and then the nurse would come running up, "Dr. Chopra, you have 30 patients downstairs, come down immediately," you know. So, but as we progressed, you know, what we found is the big stumbling block was the term alternative medicine. Because alternative implies either or. And back in those days, whenever we said alternative medicine, of course, you know, all the allopathic doctors, you know, went into a total panic meltdown and caused a lot of... So after that, you know, we realized that, you know, it should change, and fortunately it changed into integrative medicine, complementary medicine, which was where we are now. And I think Dr. Suhas is one of the greatest exponents of integrative medicine or complementary medicine, of using the best of both worlds, because that's really what it is. It's not an either or, it's the best of both worlds. And, you know, he combines this so well in his practice and everything he shares with us. So, you know, without me dribbling on any further, please welcome Dr. Suhas.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Roger. Thank you for putting some pressure on me to live up to my name now, so I can't frown anymore. How's everyone? All good? Having a jolly good time so far? Yes. Great, wonderful. So we have a wonderful talk, and we're going to talk about Vedic counseling. We're going to talk about Vedic counseling, and I'm going to ask you a couple of interesting questions to all of you. I understand this is a teacher's retreat. Is that right? Yes. How many of you feel comfortable calling yourself a teacher? Please raise your hands. Great. Okay. How many of you don't feel comfortable calling yourself as a teacher? Wonderful. I'm happy that you are being honest. Okay. Because the thing that I'm going to discuss here today is it's the role of a greater responsibility that we are all assuming to call ourselves as the teacher. And the first and the foremost responsibility that lies upon us is to walk our own talk. Is that right? That makes you a better human being. That makes you a better teacher. It simplifies your job, because then you don't have to really do something different. You just have to be natural, who you are, what you do, and you kind of radiate that sense of yourself to whoever you talk to, whether it's your clients or students or anyone else. It should not be information. It should be knowledge that you are embodying. And on behalf of the Chopra Center, I sincerely welcome you and salute you for your trust, faith, and devotion in Vedic sciences. Because this is very important to really understand this that this is what you feel so naturally inclined to. Is that right? Yes. And so we're going to talk about Vedic counseling, and these are a couple of new books that are coming out. One is my lovely wife, Dr. Manisha, is going to talk about Enchanting Beauty, the ancient secrets for inner, outer, and lasting beauty. That's coming out in November. And our new book, Vamadeva Shastri, and you heard Shiva and Shakti this morning. That was a wonderful display of the synergy of Purusha and Prakriti, Shiva and Shakti together, talking about silence and dynamism. Did we all witness that? Yeah, and so we're going to talk about Vedic counseling with Vamadeva, and the topic of the book is about the art and the science of Vedic counseling. Because there are few things that nobody can teach you, and there are few things that you have to live up to that way in order to become a better counselor. So let's get started. We have lots of wonderful things that I would like to share. And we all believe in this field of consciousness where everything is coming from. Is that right? Means the very basis of whether Ayurveda, Yoga, Jyotish, Vastu, whatever disciplines of Vedic sciences are, they all firmly believe that they are all coming from the purest state of consciousness, where we are an integral part of this universe, where we are never born, we are never gone, and everything that we do from that field, from that state, will carry that information, that energy, that strength, which will make you capable to allow that. In the olden days, the doctors, and actually the word doctor comes from a Latin word which simply means teacher. Is that right? Docere, to means to teach. And they used to write a symbol called RX, which is in the name of God. Is that right? So when we see that doctor means someone who is able to teach, and I'm sure that I don't know how they find time to do the teaching in the 7-minute standard medical consultations nowadays, but that's what they're supposed to do. And they have to imagine that what they are the vehicle of this greater field through which the healing is going to happen through them. Is that right? And somehow it gets lost into prescriptions and diagnostic tools and something like that. So we have to remember and remind ourselves that this is who we are and this is what we want to do. So another important thing is that this concept of Vedic counseling actually comes from integration of everything what you do. And one thing which I often tell to my students and clients alike is that at what point that what I am telling you is something that you knew all along. And they nod their head and said that, yeah, I mean, whatever you're telling me, my wife has been telling me all life. And I kind of knew that also, so there's nothing new in here what you're telling them. Then why do you have to be here and listen it through my mouth for you to go back and do certain things? Okay? So the important concept here is to realize that what you are saying and helping them realize is information which their body, their doshas, their states of consciousness is already having that awareness and awakening, in which you are just guiding that. Maharishi used to say that we don't have to do a whole lot. Means if there's darkness, you just bring in the light and the darkness is gone. You don't have to fight with the darkness. You just bring in the light, the lamp of knowledge, and everything will be dispelled. So this concept is all about understanding, which is an emerging trend in medicine, wellness, health, well-being, that Ayurveda, we are going back to the root, which is a perfect foundation. Don't you think so? It's a perfect foundation where you can integrate every little modality, whether you talk about chromotherapy, body work, massage therapy, aromatherapy, counseling techniques, psycho-emotional counseling, spiritual well-being, fitness, every little thing, including detoxification and everything. So if you look at Ayurveda, it's a multi-modality approach to health and well-being. So when we look at Ayurveda as a true Vedic medicine, it's the mother of all healing sciences. Your ability to know everything and guide that person from that state of well-being is very important. And one of the missing things that when we and myself and Bamdeva, we were discussing about this, is that there is a lack of effective communication with the client, because sometimes we are not sure that what we should be telling them in what will make them feel good. So the communication and the language of counseling is very important, whether it should come from your sincere effort, truthfulness, honesty, all those things, love, compassion, empathy. These are not simple words where we just talk about them, but we have to be that way in a session in which the person should feel uplifted. Is that right? How many of you are meditation teachers? Great. How many of you are perfect health teachers? How many of you are yoga teachers? And how many of you are teachers of all these three? Great. So this is very important, because now the theme where we are heading is integration of yoga, Ayurveda, fitness, wellness with spirituality all together, in which that session, that what you do for yourself, how you practice your own personal sadhana, in which you are able to share that information with your clients, can be very powerful. So we are trying to integrate all the different allied branches of Vedic literature, including yoga, including Jyotish, including maybe Gandharva Veda, Sthapatya Veda, Vedanta, all of those things. So slowly and steadily, this is not that you have to master everything all at once, but integrate some of those modalities as you go along. And Vedanta and Yoga Darshanas and all these philosophies that we talk about are very simple, even though they are very, very ancient, but they are becoming a part of the modern application, that how we should lead our life. So spirituality is becoming a mainstream of medicine through which you can change the psycho-emotional states of the physiology. Because painfully enough, we have realized that we can't address only mind, we can't address only body. In order to integrate mind and body, we had to find a spiritual solution for the problems that we have in the body as well as mind. Is that right? One of the challenges that I face in my practice is people don't listen to you. It doesn't matter how bright you are, how brilliant you are, means they have their own ignorance at times, okay? And you can't blame yourself for something which you have not done. Means you have to be kind to them and give them another chance, okay? We'll see you again in a month, see if you can do these two other things. And then again you take them around the block, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and if they still don't listen to you, then sometimes they will come back. Until and unless their karma is ripened enough to get over that pain and suffering and misery, they will keep coming back. Means Roger would agree that we can give a talk about meditation to 10 different people, and only 1 person will come up and sign up to learn meditation. The rest, other 9 people, will come back to you maybe 5, 7, 9 years down the road. Oh, I was your talk about that time when you spoke there, and something was going on in my life, and so I still remember what you said, and that's why I'm here. After 9 years of pain and suffering, I would like to come back and learn meditation from you. People do that all the time. And are you going to blame yourself? No. Means your job is to share that with as much love and compassion as you can to your clients. And the new trend that we are all talking about is the importance of health in personal growth, well-being, and transformation. You go to corporate circles, you go to anywhere else, it is all boiling down. If you are a good human being deep down under, then what you do outside as your active field, then you are able to do something that you should make yourself proud. So I think we are going back to this Vedic thing. And this is a description what a good quality counselor should be. Okay? So I think the requisite nobody talks about, that you have to be smart enough or you have to be intelligent enough. Is that right? And what does that intelligent mean? It doesn't mean that you have a degree or something, that you have completed a coursework, but you should have a heightened sense of awareness and a greater sense of common sense. You should be well read. You should be well informed. Kind but firm. Is that right? You have to be kind and firm. You have to be compassionate. You should have the clarity of your own senses, which is important. When I was listening to some of your questions this morning, I was beginning to worry about you guys. And And why I said that? Because I think as you start asking questions, then you start realizing that you don't know everything. Answers are coming to you in the way you live. Is that right? Many clients actually teach you what it is. Is that right? Because they teach you a lot. They teach you how to deal with a Vata person, how to deal with a Kapha person, or how to deal with a person with a deep-rooted childhood stress or someone else. Some people listen to you and change their lives very quickly. Some people you have to spend a lot of energy, and they feel good after the session, and you feel drained and exhausted just with that session after. So they all teach, and you all learn those things as you go along. So number one is the clarity of your senses. Other one, without any pride and prejudice. Is that right? Means the funny thing about Vedic counseling is that you teach them how to be non-judgmental, and you're constantly judging them with their body type, with their planetary type, with their constellation type, with this or that. And so you say that you have to be non-judgmental. You can't really blame them for what they are saying and how they are saying. You have to put your clutter behind where you are coming from, what your challenges and problems are. It's a very interesting session, I would say, because it almost feels as if there are two different things going on concurrently. Are you with me? Yes. There are two different things going on concurrently. One is what the client is saying, and you are thinking what they're saying about in your own mind about yourself. Sometimes you get those clients which the nature gives you to fix yourself. Is that right? Yes. Means you attract those kind of people at times, and then they start sharing their struggle, and then you start sharing their struggle with your struggle, and whatever the advice comes out of your mouth slowly starts healing you. So healer thy herself or himself is an actual reality if you are present enough to witness that. So you have to be present, you have to be intelligent, you have to be well read, well informed, you should have a clarity of your senses, and you need to maintain the clarity of senses. You need to practice your own sadhana. Your practice is very important. Like you charge your iPhone, isn't it, every morning and evening? And you don't have to keep on charging it everywhere you go. You charge it in the morning, you do your meditation in the morning, you do your meditation in the evening, and whatever data and memory that you use throughout the day, you will use that. So all your sadhana is something that you take with you throughout the day in terms of these sessions, because they can be very draining. They are affecting you in your energetic field, in your auric field quite a bit. So if you're not protecting yourself, you are a bit vulnerable to their stresses. How many of you actually feel that at times? I mean, sometimes you talk to people and you really feel energetic, and sometimes you feel so dull and heavy after talking to them for 15-20 minutes. There's a very dull, dark, heavy energy about certain people, and I don't blame them, but this is who they are, what's going on in their life. But if you don't know how to protect yourself, then you will be the weak magnet in this reaction. And we want to charge their magnetism, not to feel weak and depleted ourselves. So I think that's the concept of your own daily sadhana. You should be a good yoga practitioner. That's very important. And one thing which many people asked today, which was a very good question, that, I would like to teach them meditation, and they are so ignorant, and they just want to hurriedly tell them, give me the mantra and I'll be out the door, and then I'll see what I can do with it. And one thing which I am worried with some of the online thing now, they won't have patience to go through session 1, session 2. They are directly going to go to that session and take the mantra and leave, and God knows what they're going to do with it at times. So one thing which I often tell from an Ayurvedic perspective, if they are in their tamasic mode, you don't have to be in a hurry to put them into a sattvic state. If someone is feeling dull, depressed, heavy, lack of energy, and feeling very groggy and toxic, and you tell them to sit and meditate, they will be happily sitting and grogging and nodding off and sleeping in their meditation. So the concept is to move from their tamasic state to energize them into a rajasic state with giving them spices, physical activity, movement, yoga, all those things. And when the body is light, then give them a sattvic routine to do. Otherwise, whatever pure quality things that you will do get stuck into system and will not work that way at times. So you should be savvy enough to see whether this cookie is baked enough to eat. Is that right? Is that right? Because it's the information at what stage you give to which person is very important. Whether it's ripe enough for them to embrace that and to understand that. Otherwise, it's sometimes of no use. So be aware of it, be savvy with it. Yourself, you have to exercise, you have to be a yoga practitioner yourself, you have to be clean, you have to stay away from any unhealthy habits, you have to have a moral right to talk to these people, is that right? You have to have a moral right to talk, means you have done castor oil cleanse few times before you talk about this to your clients. So you have to experience what does it take to fast for a day before you tell other people to do that or anything else. So you have to be a skilled motivator, a life coach, a medical intuit to really understand, to see through what is going on, what is the real cause of migraine that they have, what is the real cause of anything else that is going on. You have to be flexible enough, you have to be positive in your own attitude, and you have to be optimistic enough to realize what is to be done. Because for a long time, health, healing, wellness has been always a healing profession. Is that right? It has always been a healing profession where, and it's one of the most ancient professions that is known to humanity, I would say. But from a Vedic perspective, it says that to alleviate anyone's suffering is one of the most wonderful karma that you can do. The quote says, Natvaham kamaye rajyam na swargam na punarbhavam kamaye dukhattaptanam praninam artinashanam. So I don't want the kingdom of heavens. I don't want the luxuries of life. Just give me the ability to heal someone through my speech, words, actions, and whatever I can do. And if you can do that, I think it's worth it. Sometimes it pays your bills. Sometimes you earn good friends. Sometimes you are doing your own dharma. Sometimes you get glory because these clients go out and they become your walking, talking business cards. And if nothing happens, at least you refine your skills to do it right. Is that right? So these sessions are never useless. They are never wasted. Say, kvachit dharma, kvachit artha, kvachit maitri, kvachit yashaha, karma abhyasa, kvachit cheti, chikitsa nasti nishfala.